Alright, so what we have here is the Airblade cream puff. Pretty sweet little frame. I like it a lot. But there's a couple things that I wouldn't mind being changed on it. So let's do the specs real quick. First off, I believe it's 2.5. Yep, 2.5 thick. Top plate is 1.5. And it is 96 millimeters motor to motor. It says on the website that it can do 2.5 inch props, or up to 2.5 inch. I found that 2.5 inch would not fit in my configuration. This does have mounting holes at 45, so you can do your stack at a 45, and that might work for 2.5 inch because, you know, then you got the angles here. But then you have the problem of your camera is going to be like in the plus configuration, you know, so. Anyway, so I think 2 inch is going to be just fine though, because the overall weight on this was 80 grams. And I think that's a good weight for a 2 inch with 1106 motors on 3S. So it's going to be a little rocket. On this particular build, I'm using the Emax 1106 6000 kV. The Cicada 25 amp 4-in-1 and Aero Micro VTX03 and XM Plus. I got the XM Plus sandwiched in the middle there. Fit just right. Got the bind button hanging out the front there, so that's pretty cool. And I'm using another new flight controller. This is the other Maytech new F4. It's the F411. I wasn't a huge fan of the F405 when I found out that you had to have a outside 5 volt to power it. Some guy told me that he uses his VTX 5 volt out to power it. But if you're using a VTX 03, that's not really going to be possible, because then how are you going to power the VTX 03? It takes 5 volts as well. So I do still have that F405. I do have some 5 volt Pololus on the way that I'm gonna try using with it. And I really like this F411. This one's really nice. I would definitely recommend this one. It's only 25 bucks. It's the cheapest F4 you can get in 20x20. And it's really nice. I mean, you can see how thick the board is. It's the thickest one I've ever seen. Which I like personally, because, you know, it makes me feel like if it heats up real hot, you know, the components aren't going to break off or anything like that. It's not going to bend, you know, or anything when you're putting standoffs and screws on it and stuff. It has a lot of features. I noticed that it only had a couple UARTs. I'm not sure if it was the setting I had it on or what, but I only saw UART 2 and UART 3 and then VCP for the USB. But that's not a problem for me. It does have OSD. And it's just a sweet little flight controller. I got another one last night after seeing this one in action. The other thing that I didn't like about this was there's nowhere for the VTX to go. I wish that there was a dedicated spot for the VTX 03. That would be really awesome. If you could do that, Airblade. But the camera mounts, they work pretty good. They're kind of bulky. I mean, you can see how big all this extra stuff right here is not necessary. If maybe you could do something where, you know, you have just maybe make a standoff out of TPU with a little piece coming out the side there for the camera mount, that would work too. Because, you know, once it's on here, it's in there solid. It's not going anywhere, you know, so you don't have to have all that extra stuff. The VTX though, I just have back here. It was the best spot that I could find, you know, and still, you know, it got access to the button there, and it's out of the way of the props. So yeah, that'll work. I haven't really flown it yet. I think I might have test hovered it. but my daughter. I got pretty good angle for what I'm using. So it does come with these really long standoffs. They're like 24 millimeter, I think, or something like that. I'm using way shorter ones, as you can see there. Probably almost 10 millimeters shorter. And it turned out just perfect for the camera with the angle and everything. I mean, I'm getting probably 20 to 25 degree angle there, which is plenty for me, and it's just everything fit just beautifully. I mean, the camera is just about right on top of the flight controller. So let's check it out real quick. All right. Oh shit. Oh my god. Holy smokes, that thing is a rocket. Oh, that's awesome. Alright, well, there you have it. The cream puff from Airblade. Pretty cool, in my opinion.